Well, welcome to this video on desktop virtualization, where today we'll be looking at traditional IT. So we'll get to desktop virtualization in other videos, but what I want to start with is considering what happens with traditional IT today. And a lot of resources get put into the data center, key information, key data live in the data center, and IT run a lot of their systems in data centers. So at one end we've got the data center, but I'll label that for us, data center. And then the people that consume IT are the users. So over here I'll just show the users. And traditional IT systems have built up something like this. So in a data center, servers are being put together to run workloads. So I don't know, Exchange servers or servers running CRM systems, things like that, to drive the business forward. And then networks have evolved over time, so routers, switches, hubs, things like that, to connect users into these IT resources. Now, because we're dealing with a distributed computing system, where information can be not just on servers but on people's PCs and on the hard drives, a lot of security tools have evolved to help organizations try to protect this important information. Now, the way that users get to their IT resources are through devices. So for most of us, that's the Windows PC, although we're seeing a change in recent years where other devices are now being used, but that's the traditional way that we've gone to get our IT tools. And then there's also a set of management tools that have evolved. So IT can get a sense of what's going on in this system that has built up over time. Now, all these things are being put together to form traditional IT. And all these elements are interrelated or interdependent. So if there's an observation to be made here that there's a lot of dependence or interdependence of the various components that make up this IT system. And what I mean by that is if I was to change some software on the server, maybe update or apply a patch to some server operating system, that can have a knock-on effect further down the line where things just stop working. And this is one of the concerns that IT often have, is when I change something, what's going to break? So one thing to sort of take away from this is that these components are very interdependent, very hard-coded in a sense together. Another thing is that these systems, although my drawing is relatively simple, are very complex. Lots of moving parts, lots of components, lots of things to keep track of. And that's often why, when you make a change somewhere, something else breaks, because you didn't know about an interdependence between certain systems. So these systems are highly complex, and because of that, they can be very difficult to change and alter. So when the business wants to do something new, often it's this complexity that means that IT can't move at the same speed as the business wants to. Interesting to understand where time and money gets spent. About 90% of it is spent keeping this stuff running, updating this stuff, managing this stuff. This is where most of the budget and most of the IT time goes. And another thing that this happens especially in larger organizations is that IT teams get organized into different groups. So you'll have a team that looks after the servers, you'll have a team that looks after the network, security, etc. And when it comes to rolling out a project across an organization or delivering a new IT service, you'll find that those services cut across all of these different areas. And one of the problems can be when you're trying to roll out a new service is these teams need to work together to deliver that new service, and that can often build in delay for an organization as well. So this siloing of teams can be problematic. Now, another interesting perspective to take on here is the business leader's perspective, so the CEO. And that person's in a very interesting position in one sense, because his or her performance is very easy to measure. It's based on the revenue or profit or whatever that organization can make, or maybe on the market share or market growth that leader achieves. So there are some very simple parameters that measures the success of a CEO. To be successful, a CEO needs to make decisions and drive a business forward. And what he needs that business to be, in effect, is agile. So an organization that can change quickly dependent on new market conditions, or maybe new market opportunities, or maybe an economic upturn or downturn. The CEO may need to be able to reshape and reconfigure that business very quickly. Now, if you're dealing with a IT system which has parts that are very interdependent and it's a complex system, then it's very difficult to change quickly. And this is one of these sort of problems, I suppose, that business leaders have with IT, is that rather than being a business enabler a lot of the time, they're a blocker to getting things done. So if we can come up with a way of doing IT in a way that gives the business the agility that the CEOs want and reduces these complexities and the interdependence of components, then we're in a great position. And in future videos, we'll look at desktop virtualization and how that may be a help in these areas. So I hope that's enlightened you a little around what is often referred to as traditional computing. It's really just trying to paint a picture of what most people are doing today, what traditional IT looks like today. So I hope I haven't confused you too much. And in a future video, we'll take a look at how desktop virtualization might help. Thanks.